Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. This episode, we're going to be taking a look at a piece by the multidisciplinary artist Michael Strevens. This episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about kind of spiritual scale here. We're going to talk about elemental framing, and we're also going to talk about the journey of personal transformation through life. So let's jump right into it. So whenever you first see this work, you're met with this really grand scene here. Of course, we see a lone subject set in the center, and there's these countless vertical streaks that really give a very energetic and exciting introduction to the work at hand. And so you see this grand sense of scale here, of course, with a small subject. If we were to estimate about 6 feet tall, you can just imagine how large this room or this wall truly is. And this grand sense of scale, it really introduces us to a divine destination. There's something spiritual about this place, of course. It feels metaphysical, meta being greater than or higher than, and then physical being our mundane world. So it feels greater than life, and it really denotes the divinity of this destination for sure. Of course, the viewer is just, or not the viewer, the subject is just dwarfed by that, and it's just a grand introduction for sure. And so we also see multiple layers of contrast here, whether we're talking about the vertical streaks of kind of a light on dark, dark on light oscillating forward, or whether we're talking about the light on, or the dark on light contrast here in the center. You'll also notice that this contrast works alongside this frame here, or this lane, to frame the subject quite masterfully. That, of course, accents its form. It really calls our attention, and of course, that denotes this sense of balance within the work at hand as well. In the realm of, say, placement, this is symmetrical. We do have some deviations, say, in color, so I wouldn't quite call it perfectly symmetrical, but there is this sense of balance here. We have, of course, the subject set in center. Everything appears to revolve around that center subject. I think that's incredibly important, especially how the kind of dark on light contrast and that use of framing really accents, elevates the subject for sure. And so it's hard to say exactly whether our subject is entering or leaving. Upon close inspection, it's hard to say for sure. I kind of think that the subject is entering, entering into a new paradigm, entering into a new state of being. Although it's hard to say for sure, the subject could be, entering, or the subject could be exiting from this divine destination. Like I said, it's hard to say for sure, but there's no doubt that we're looking at a very divine work, a very spiritual scene for sure. And so I want to draw a little bit of analogy between this and the idea of the journey through life. Of course, life is ultimately a journey, and it's normally experienced from the realm of the individual, the perspective of the individual. Whenever we talk about, say, pain, suffering, or even the triumphs in life, we always talk about from kind of an individual mindset. We experience pain in a very kind of limited lens. We experience growth in a very limited lens. Of course, we only have our perspective. We can't jump into another person's body. So with that in mind, I think the work does a really good job at elevating that. Of course, you have the single subject, of course, framed within that. That really does accent that individual perspective through life for sure. And I also saw a analogy about kind of personal transformation going through life. Of course, you're kind of emerging or entering from this destination, and there is this sense that there is a kind of rebirth, or say an imminent rebirth. Of course, if the subject is exiting, then I think we just witnessed the rebirth of the revitalization. But if the subject is entering into this wall, then say the transformation or that evolution of the personal character is imminent. So it's hard to say for sure, what exactly happening here, but I do draw an analogy from kind of the journey of life. And so I also wanted to note on just the immense energy within the work at hand. Of course, everything from texture to that gradient to color to light itself to vibrancy of light, of course, intensity of light. All of those give a very energetic composition, very exciting one. At it for sure. It's going to get the heart racing a little bit, kind of opens up the senses, but it does prepare us for this divine destination or this spiritual scene that we see for sure. And so there also is this kind of sense of the transcendent. Of course, we have this massive grand scale, and it's hard to say exactly what's happening, although I do get some kind of transcendent or ascendant vibes for sure from this work. And so this piece is also a piece of Techspressionism. So Techspressionism at its most literal can be defined as expressing emotional experience within a technological medium of expression. So we see this for sure. If this is a personal transformation piece, it is definitely dealing with those kind of emotional, kind of those deeper experiences, and it is within a technological medium of expression. So definitely a Techspressionist piece, and this will actually be added to our upcoming gallery for sure. And so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed this episode, go check out Strevens' other work, or Strevens. He's does some really, really good stuff, dealing with some, there is kind of a series where this same scene is put in different kind of color gradients. I do like that as well. It gives a very different feel for each piece for sure. But, regardless of that, I think it is just a great work, whether it's transcendent, that immense energy, everything. It's likely to leave a lasting impact on the viewer. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.